We have, as of now, deployed about 10 different units on the ground. They are all mobile and through the entire eastern coast with the specific locations, more in Orissa and in Andhra Pradesh. Our reporters will be moving through the entire day tomorrow to bring you the live coverage. From Vizag today, we have Nikhil Joshi. From Puri in Orissa, we have Paulomi, and Anusha is joining us from Hyderabad. With us is Jatin, who is the chief of SkyMet, and he's joining us from Delhi. And he's also joined by a senior meteorologist at SkyMet, Makrant Kulkarni, who is, and I'm glad to say that SkyMet will be giving us minute-to-minute updates and data as this cyclone progresses. With us from Michigan in the United States is Director of Meteorology at Weather Underground. He's joining us from Skype. Let's take a view from him first. Dr. Jeff Masters, if you can hear me, most people are making this comparison to Katrina. Between Phailin and Katrina, and because of this comparison, there is greater and greater concern that is being built up in India. I'd like you to comment on that comparison between Katrina and Phailin first. Is it justified?
You don't see many storms like this. This is a top-end Category 5 sort of hurricane. And I would compare it to the great 1999 Odisha cyclone, which hit a similar portion of the coast. It's going to cause catastrophic damage wherever it comes ashore. Now, one good thing is it's going to come ashore in a part of the coast where the land isn't quite as low-lying as the 1999 cyclone, so you're not going to see as great a damage from the storm surge. But still, the storm surge is probably going to be up around 5 meters or so, and that's going to cause a great deal of destruction just to the right of where the eye comes ashore.
When we are talking about the storm surge, V.K. Rajiv is Director Forecasting at the Regional Met Center in Mumbai. What are we talking about? What does a storm surge mean, which Dr. Jeff Masters is referring to? What does it mean really? When he says it's 5 meters, what is he talking about?
We define a storm surge as a phenomenon. When the storm crosses the coast, the water gets thrown up above the astronomical tide level.
Right.
So we expect here in this case, in the case of Phailin, that the water should be thrown up about 3 to 3.5 meters above the normal tide level wherein you have in the normal course. What then happens is, as the storm crosses the coast, the water that has been thrown up gets fall down on the land area, and the entire land area gets inundated because of this flood water. So that's what we define as the storm surge.
So we are talking here, just very layman terms, we are talking here of wind speeds of about, say, 220 kilometers per hour. Just to give our viewers a sense, let's go to SkyMet. When we are talking here, Jatin and Makrand, of wind speeds of 220 kilometers per hour, can you tell us how it compares? For example, I was asking V.K. Rajiv before we began, what is the maximum wind speed that, for example, a city like Mumbai gets? He told me it would be 20 or 30 knots, which would be approximately in the range of within 40 kilometers per hour.
Exactly.
So what does a wind speed of 220 kilometers per hour really imply in actual terms? Can you give us some sense?
You could see any structure that is not a concrete structure being blown away. You could have all these coconut trees which are on the the tops of coconut trees being uprooted and being completely demolished. So that is the kind of destructive power that kind of wind speed can have.
So it can literally...
And that was one of the reasons, a lot of structures collapsed in 1999 because they were not concrete structures. But saying that, things have now changed. A lot of people who have concrete structures are staying put on the coast. A lot of people have been evacuated to schools slightly deeper. So I think this time, though there has tremendous destructive power, the administration has acted on time. India has developed. There has been enough forewarning for this to happen. So potentially it's massively destructive, but I don't foresee the kind of complete destruction we saw in 1999.
Let's just stay with that map there as I ask Makran the next follow-up question. Everyone's asking today, will I be affected? Now, there are people, we are seeing a very broad map of how the cyclone is building up, and I can see people everywhere from Tamil Nadu right up to West Bengal actually are concerned. Will we be affected? That question I put across to you, Makran. Who are the people, which is the broad area or the range which is likely to be affected the most, and in which areas is it relatively safe? Can you give us some sense? of the eastern coast?
The disaster will be mainly near Orissa coast, between Gopalpur and Puri, where the cyclone will hit first, right? And then it will slowly move and it will dissipate till it goes to Chhattisgarh or Madhya Pradesh, like this. The main rainfall will be in coastal Andhra Pradesh. Some rainfall will be in Vidarbha and Chhattisgarh region. Main rainfall will be there. But the main disaster will be faced near the coast and the agriculture, where the early sown rice varieties are there, which are now ready for harvest. Those farmers will be more in trouble this time.
So the maximum impact is on the Orissa coast. So the maximum impact that you're saying is on the Orissa coast.
Will be on Odisha coast.
Yeah. So from Puri we have from Puri we have Paulomi joining us. Makran, just coming back to you, from Puri we have Paulomi joining us. Is a complete evacuation really possible? Is that what the administration is looking at, Paulomi?
Well, they're looking to evacuate at least 5 lakh people from the coastal districts, the 7 districts of Odisha, which will be affected as a result of this cyclone. In this pilgrim town, they have evacuated everyone from the beach side. All tourists have been removed from the hotels. The hotels have sent them mostly towards Bhubaneswar. Fishermen have been warned that they cannot venture into the sea at least for the next 24 hours before the cyclone passes over. This is expected to make landfall tomorrow evening over here in Puri, but already precautionary measures have been taken in Orissa itself. 20 NDRF teams, 300 jawans from the army have moved in from Jharkhand. There are various medical units and rescue units which are stationed over here. The IAF has choppers posted at Barakpur in West Bengal as well. The Navy has got its ships and divers in place as well. So Odisha obviously has the experience of the 1999 super cyclone, and it's bringing all of that experience into play as in terms of the rescue and relief operations over here today.
Dr. Masters, just coming back to you, I was reading here, the estimate, a comment which was made by a gentleman called Eric Holthius, who is a meteorologist for Quartz, which I think is a US-based online magazine which covers global economy-related issues. And he said this, and I want your comment on it. He said, everything I know as a meteorologist tells me that this is the equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane, among the strongest on Earth in 2013. That would mean that Phailin could be the strongest cyclone ever measured in the Indian Ocean.
It's certainly one of the strongest ever measured in the Indian Ocean. It's just as strong as the 1999 Great Orissa cyclone right now. 160-mile-per-hour winds is referenced by the Joint Typhoon Warning Center. So it doesn't really matter if it gets another 5 or 10 miles per hour stronger. It's pretty much going to cause catastrophic damage wherever it comes ashore.
So there is no question here, I hope, VK Rajiv, of trying to underestimate the potential impact of this cyclone. I mean, have we done that? I mean, some people are saying that there has been an underestimation of the strength and impact of this storm because, as Jatin told us earlier today, it could impact as many as 10 million people. Have we done that early enough?
Sorry, let's try to understand this. The Phailin has been having a very long sea travel. It has already been in the category of severe cyclonic storm just west of Andaman area, and all till the landfall that's going to take place tomorrow, it's in the category of very severe cyclonic storm. As a very severe cyclonic storm, it's having a very long sea travel and is picking up a lot of moisture. So there is no doubt that this is a very severe cyclonic storm that's happening.
No, my question is that the comments that I'm getting here from the experts in the United States and elsewhere, including Jeff Masters today, appear to be, if I may be allowed a comment here, appear to be, Jatin, a little bit more concerned. Not that I'm saying Indian meteorologists are not concerned or the government's not concerned, the government's doing what it can, but as a country which has dealt with hurricanes throughout, I find that there seems to be palpably greater concern coming in from those who are observing the cyclone and its development from around the world. Jatin, would that be correct to say that, or am I incorrect in making that estimate?
I know there are two parts to this discussion. One, how powerful it is. I do not underestimate the destructive force of this thing. It is the biggest since 1999. It is as big as the one that was there. The one difference is, of course, the negative vorticity that it will anticipate just before landfall, and most models are showing some kind of a drop around it hits, and right now the indication is that it kind of dissipates fairly quickly once it gets inside. Second, your preparedness, what you were in 1999, what you are today. I mean, for instance, power has already been cut. You know, people have taken off their dish antennas, food packets have already been mobilized, the defense has already been mobilized. We're tracking this for 3 days. There's so much more warning now than there was.
How long does it last? How long does it last is the question, you know, Jatin, Makran, can you tell us how long it lasts? Because, and what should people do? Those who are not evacuated, those who have chosen to stay there, I don't know what the government is doing there, but are people supposed to stay completely indoors, I presume? Are people expected to stock up, remain completely indoors, and for what period of time does the intensity last?
The winds, the high winds may last for 6 to 12 hours. After that, the wind intensity will be reduced, right? But the rainfall might continue for 24 hours.
Okay, so the peak.
So you can look after this point, it will go here in 12 hours.
So it's a peak period, right? Is between between Saturday evening and Sunday afternoon, something like that.
Yeah, Sunday morning, the peak winds will be there. After that, winds will be dropped. Wind speed will be dropped, but rainfall might continue, and that rainfall might continue in this part, southeast part of the center.
So you're looking at all of Sunday till Monday morning.
All of Sunday till Monday morning.
Till Monday morning.
Yeah, Dr. Masters, you know, in a sort of cyclone of this scale, isn't one of the biggest worries not just the full, you know, immediate physical devastation which is caused, but the flooding which happens after that? I mean, that has been the concern everywhere in the United States, and presumably many of these are low-lying areas as well. So the concern would be flooding, wouldn't it?
Yes, both the storm surge flooding at the coast and then also the flooding from the freshwater rains. But one thing that this doesn't have in common with the 1999 cyclone, that storm hit just 12 days after another cyclone hit the same part of the coast, and the soils are already saturated then. And we had over 2,000 deaths over 100 kilometers inland because of heavy flooding. Well, I don't think we're going to see that level of flooding from this storm.
Well, you know, we're fingers crossed, hoping for the best. Let's go across to Anusha and Nikhil, who've been waiting from Vizag and Hyderabad. And one thing, Anusha and Nikhil, to both of you, maybe to Anusha first, is the Andhra government. You know, it was almost dysfunctional for the last few days, unfortunately, because of the ongoing Telangana agitation. Now, how have they got their act together, and have they got their act together sufficiently in time?
Well, the government, it seems, has managed to convince all the agitating parties to come together at a time of crisis. We've seen that all the agitating parties, apart from the AP NGOs, that is the non-gazetted officers, have withdrawn their strike. They will be joining hands in handling this particular situation. All government employees will be used as manpower for rescue, rehabilitation and precautionary measures. That is what we are learning as of now. We were also talking about the flooding that could happen after this particular cyclone. The government is reinducing tank bunds for the same, and has also brought in high-powered pumps to pump out the water if at all tanks, rivers or canals flood.
Okay, finally, Nikhil, you know, this is one of those ironies that in a time of crisis, people come together, sink political differences, and work together in this situation. How is the situation in Vizag?
But in Vizag, the wind speed seems to have picked up clearly, and as far as the efforts being put in are concerned, there is a chopper that has been stationed here, also 4 battalions of the army. Having spoken to the director of the Cyclone Warning Center roughly about an hour's time back, he confirmed to Times Now that the last time the cyclone was tracked, it was spotted about 400 kilometers southeast of Paradip, and he went on to say that it doesn't seem like it is losing any momentum, and it is only going to increase from there. And that is the positioning of the cyclone with the landfall mark being Gopalpuram in Odisha.
Well, to all our viewers there in Odisha, in Andhra Pradesh, the coastal eastern coast, be safe, and to everyone out there, we are tracking the story. We will get you the best experts. Non-stop coverage is going on tomorrow, and our news desk will be alive to take your calls in case you have more questions on the super cyclone. We'll direct your calls to our experts at SkyMet and to everyone in the Met agencies, to everyone, including our reporters who are on the spot, and they will be traveling tomorrow through the areas which are affected. Be safe and stay tuned to our coverage. I'm taking a short break. I'll be back after that.